Hey, what's up? It's Choose. We're reacting to Reality Check TV Chicago's stream of the Thornton Township meeting on August 15th. Just wanted to point out a few things because this was a very interesting meeting. So we're not going to go through this whole, I don't know how long it was. Shout out to you, Reality Check TV, for hanging in there. But we're not going to go through the whole meeting. We just want to point out a few things. Um, Number one, this is a special board meeting that was called by the Thornton Township trustees. Now, when you have a special board meeting, number one, only the items on the agenda at a special board meeting should be discussed. That's the only thing that should be discussed. You're not supposed to go off topic. There's no new business to discuss. And so I just really want to start there because I think that is very important to understand the differences between a regular board meeting and a special board meeting. So this is a special board meeting. All business, anything, comments from the staff to the residents, it has to be on topic of this special board meeting, period. Now, one of the first things that I did notice was that it was a lot. This was a lot. So the trustees wanted to pay some bills, and I'm just gonna. They also wanted to pass some ordinances, but there were a lot of things that I felt were left out of the news channel reportings. So that's pretty much how everything is supposed to go. It's a special board meeting. These items are on the agenda. Let's get through it. You either say yes or no. It should be easy since the trustees are the ones that called this meeting. And so let's see if that's how it plays out because they're making ordinances and different things are happening. People are trying to get paid, just a lot of different things here. And so we need to make sure that we are on point with the discussions, with the vote, and it really should be fair or should have been fairly easy. So let's see. Okay, so for clarity, what came up that I don't think was made clear in the news reportings on WGN was that contracts were in place and the trustees at some point, not the last board meeting, but at some point before this, approved contracts. And the meeting last month where no one wanted to approve the bills, so on and so forth, that was what I couldn't understand. If you approved a contract, you paid on that contract. You don't later say, I don't know what this is, if you voted previously to approve that contract. So I think the best receipt for this issue right here would be, let's look up the Thornton Township meeting where the contracts were approved. If these were approved, verbal or written, at this point, you are liable to pay them. And that's just business. Even if it's not in writing, verbally, if the trustees were at a township meeting and they voted at some point to hire certain people, it's illegal to not pay, even if it's a verbal contract. So I didn't understand that. And I didn't understand why that wasn't brought up. That's when people started to say, oh, it got contentious. And I mean, wouldn't it be a little confusing if you were told at a previous meeting that, yes, we approve that you're going to, I believe, lawn care and whatever else was on the agenda. We approve this. And then a month goes by, you're not paid. And then months go by and you're still not paid. And now it's because of the supervisor. That makes no sense. It makes no sense. But anyway, but when you put something on an agenda, you should be able to, I shouldn't even say be able to, you should explain why that item is on the agenda, why you want it passed, how it helps the township, those types of things. So what I noticed here, more so than the politics of it, is the board etiquette of it all, and just Robert rules of order, and especially when it comes to special meetings. So there was stuff on this agenda, and when Supervisor Henyard asked for a discussion about it, no one said anything. I have never seen a board, and I've seen a lot of different boards in a lot of different cities in a lot of different states. I have never seen a board not discuss with their community, their city, their state. I've never seen anyone just want to say, let's do this A, B, C, D, but we don't want to discuss why. We don't want to tell why it's better, what it'll do, what it even means. I mean, at the very, very basic, these are so, or some of them are ordinances that was on this agenda. So if you have ordinances on the agenda, you're basically making laws. So I would think at the very least, the first thing that you would want to do is explain what it is, followed by why you're doing it. But Supervisor Henyard absolutely did call them out, and rightfully so, whether we like it or not. She called them out, called Carmen and the rest of the trustees out for not having a reason why they're doing what they're doing. And we saw this over in Dalton with the Dalton trustees ever since 2021. You can go back and look. Even I believe I have a little bit on my page where we're asking why you're doing something. And I know that in one instance, Trustee Belcher said, no, I want to explain. So, I mean, how do you get anything done? But that was my main thing regarding the trustees and the supervisor here, is that the supervisor didn't call this meeting. The trustees did. I find this board, I don't know, I understand that a lot of them have been doing it a long time, but that does not make you qualified. And I find these trustees, as well as the trustees on the Dalton board, to be, I'm going to say, just not properly trained. Just, that's all I got. I can't make it any nicer. I don't know any nicer. I don't know who didn't go to board training, who did, but there's a lot of board training basics that need to be done here. And, people, I've had people get upset with me on boards when I call this kind of thing out. But to keep it fair, I mean, you have to understand what you're doing. You have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. That's just every place that I've seen except for. Now, the other thing that I didn't like was I saw WGN. I believe that was about the only one that I saw. It might have been a couple more, but what's with these 3-minute clips? This meeting was a couple hours long. So what's with these 3-minute clips and these narratives? I don't understand.
Fired by recent accusations against Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard. WGN's Angelica Sanchez is live in South Holland with details. Angelica.
Well, it took no time for
Supervisor Tiffany Henyard.
I just want to, because the first thing I noticed, I don't even think it's been a minute, and what they're saying is the items on the agenda seem to be inspired by accusations, and I'm just gonna stop there because that is concerning within itself. That you're basing having a special meeting surrounding accusations. You don't have facts, but you have accusations. Even so, the trustees were not or prepared to explain why they were doing what they were doing. And that's why I guess the news is able to pick this story up and say this.
to become combative with Henyard multiple times questioning why this special meeting was called in the first place.
Again.
Henyard multiple times.
Okay.
Well, it took no time for this meeting to become combative with Henyard multiple times questioning why this special meeting was called in the first place when the township was already set to meet next week. Trustees say that this was their way of getting answers.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out.
Thornton Township called a special meeting. Supervisor Tiffany Henyard called it clickbait.
But it saddens my heart that you are up here at this special meeting and not downstairs where we have big bingo.
She wanted media instead cover an event downstairs.
I'm advising you to make a U-turn and go downstairs because you come for clickbait.
The meeting happened hours after the controller suspended funds to South Suburban Dalton, where Henyard is also mayor.
Well, hold on. See, that was a lot, and actually, that was 1 minute and 1 second. A lot was piled into that, wasn't it? So, number one, we have a special board meeting that was called per accusations, no facts, nothing definitive yet. The second thing we heard was, whoa, the meeting became combative very quickly. What do you assume? And I'm just asking everyone. You assume it became combative because Tiffany did something and something. That's a fair assumption unless you actually watched the board meeting. Now, she did call it clickbait. And my final answer, which are only my views and opinions, is this was clickbait. I'm sorry. I don't have anything else, any other way to describe it, because literally in 1 minute, WGN tried to pile a whole lot of stuff to just make you think, oh, yep, see, the mayor and the supervisor, it's out of control. Second thing I heard, this comes hours after the Illinois comptroller does something with the funds. Can we please stop acting like Illinois taking over, or I should say the state taking over of things is because of Mayor Henyard? If you don't believe me, you can go back. Actually, I believe it's in my playlist of Dalton Journalisms. In my playlist to 2017, there was a board meeting. Former trustee Dwayne Muhammad brought in a person that absolutely explained that this was where, at minimum, Dalton would be. That was just at minimum, where Dalton would be in the next 4 to 5 years. So if that was in 2017, 4 to 5 years was when? 2020, about 2021, 2022, when all that stuff started happening. Wake up. Let's see what else this news has to say.
She's being accused of mismanaging taxpayer funds there. It took no time for the township meeting to turn combative.
So why aren't you paying the staff? I don't see the staff on here. I think that's a very important bill to pay. So do y'all want to amend that and add the staff bills? Because I don't see them in none of these bills lists. And then we don't never do agenda like this. So all this fluff you selling to the public is crap.
Trustees listed several agenda items like approving the payments of several budget approvals and establish a credit card purchase policy.
I'm just tired of coming here and it has to be a show.
Henyard questioned multiple times why a special meeting was called when the township was already set to meet next week.
Sometimes we get invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get questions, answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait. It's about just making sure the right thing is being done.
It was due to breakdowns in communication between trustees and administration.
I trusted the administration. I trusted the process. And the moment I didn't trust the process, I started asking questions.
For disabled seniors, Henyard supporters praised her and said that she was being crucified. Meantime, some agenda items for the meeting scheduled next Tuesday. Live in South Holland, Angelica Sanchez, WGN News.
Now, does that make sense to you? What kind of sense does this make? So, again, we have the trustees who have called a meeting. Like trustees who have called a meeting. I'm sorry, my bad. So we have the trustees that called the meeting. It became combative, and they couldn't approve everything that they put on the agenda. Once again, Tiffany Henyard did not put anything on this agenda. The trustees did. Trustee Carlisle, why do you have questions when it was stated that you have, well, all of you all had a month since the last time you met? I don't know, I think I'm streaming is slow or something. Since the last time they met, they had a month. They had a whole month to figure this out and be ready for even this special meeting. Or perhaps they could have waited until next week. But that being said, if you're coming to get answers, then what the news didn't cover, and hold on, I want to make sure I'm not being all choppy here. What the news didn't cover was that Trustee Carlisle had many meetings set up that she didn't attend. There is one person that she can go to, and she didn't do it. Now, and let me stop right there. I'm not saying this, I'm not confirming nor denying. I'm stating that it was said that there were many meetings that Trustee Carlisle could have attended, and it was stated that she did not. The person to go to, whether you like that person or not, in this case is Keith Price. So again, we have to put our dislikes for people aside to get work done. And I don't know if she indeed asked Keith Price. I mean, at this point, I think everybody should be on the panel, do a panel in the township and do a panel in Dalton, and forget the public comment, make it be Q&A for everybody. I wonder how that would go. How Trustee Carlisle could have so many questions when she didn't show up to the meetings that were scheduled. They had a month. They had a whole month to figure this out and be ready for even this special meeting. Or perhaps they could have waited until next week. But that being said, if you're coming to get answers, then what the news didn't cover, and hold on, I want to make sure I'm not being all choppy here. What the news didn't cover was that Trustee Carlisle had many meetings set up that she didn't attend. There is one person that she can go to, and she didn't do it. Now, I'm not saying she didn't. What I'm saying is this is the part that the news did not say, because it sounds all good and nicely packaged. I have questions of this administration. You're the board. You're the one with the power. I mean, I didn't understand how Trustee Carlisle could have so many questions when she didn't show up to the meetings that were scheduled. And I believe I remember at the last township meeting, there was something about I need them all in email, and it's just, this is a mess. I mean, from the email time to now, you didn't attend any meetings. That's unprofessional, just unprofessional. If you all want to hear all this go down, please check out Reality Check TV. Hey, sorry, y'all. I'm just really trying to make sure this thing isn't being choppy. I'm so new to StreamYard, but okay. So I was trying to say, shout out Reality Check TV Chicago. Please, please, please watch the entire board meeting from the beginning to the end. And let's just check back in and see what's happening right now.
Let me ask you a question. So I had a few contractors call me, or vendors, or I don't know how you say it, but they said they submit their bills and you don't put them on the board. So why do you pick and choose who should be paid and who shouldn't? Because again, we have people that say they said.
Okay. So we can't really hear, and I want to make sure that everyone understands that that is not Reality Check TV Chicago. That was the consensus from everyone. So those microphones,
that you guys create,
oh no,
y'all mess, y'all function, y'all dysfunction. Let me say that. So stop.
oh no, yeah, those microphones suck. But we want to just keep it going.
Trustee Carlisle?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. There was so much going on, but that's basically all I have to say about the special meeting. You stay on topic, but the news reporting, I noticed they reported one person. There was another news report that had stated that there were Tiffany Henyard supporters, but then there were, is she leaving? Wait, it's time for public comment. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Most of the news cameras left after this lady spoke. So let's see how many Tiffany Henyard supporters versus others that were out there knowing that this is a special board meeting and we're supposed to stay on topic. So let's see what's going to happen. This is a special board meeting. They're talking about the grass cutting. That's what they're talking about right now. And the public and the public basically has their time to speak on the lawn cutting. That's what a special meeting is for, and I'm saying that for a reason because I heard what WGN said, and I know what I saw. So let's see here.
And then they said that if the other three came down to $35, that they will basically include them as well. The board was advised that if they did not get contractors when school goes back, which is middle of August, that basically we have no one to cut the grass. And that was the purpose for contractors. But yet the board chose not to pay them anything. Last meeting, myself and trustee Darlene Gray Evers, the only two that voted to pay everybody, including contractors. Trustee Carmen, trustee Chris Gonzalez was the only two that voted not to pay anybody, including the county members that work here too.
Okay. Yeah, it's really hard to hear, but again, that's their microphones. Shout out Reality Check TV Chicago, but we want to just really get to the comments because they put the first lady that's going to speak is the only half a comment out of everything that she actually said. They put up crucifying her and it's like y'all got horns and didn't even cover everything she said. I mean, give the lady her whole entire time. Why are you just reporting literally 5 seconds? But here, let's listen. Let's just listen in because I want to hear everything. I want to hear everything. Hold on, make sure y'all hear me. I want to hear everything that this lady actually said.
For almost 30 years. I cannot believe there's so many people out there trying to crucify Tiffany, and she is so wonderful. I am an accountant, but you never know where life gonna find you walking, because you got to be careful how you treat somebody in the storm because the weather changes daily. Here I am, a prominent person, an accountant, end up getting cancer, end up having an aneurysm. So found me in an unfamiliar place, divorced, kids grown. She has a lawn care service. I have a big house. They come by, they cut my grass. That's one thing I don't have to worry about. This cancer medicine I'm taking makes me where I can't walk. Well, here I found myself unfamiliar in a walker, and I'm walking where I never thought I would be. I'm listening to these people out here, and it saddens me that everybody want to crucify you. It's like everybody got horns. This lady is so wonderful. I don't see her doing anything wrong. And believe me, if they knew something, they'd bring it out. They only have assumptions. But the lawn care service and the food service is something that I need. And she is wonderful.
Thank you.
And that's all I got to say.
Now, that wasn't long. That wasn't long at all. Why would you take 3 sentences, but not one of those sentences that nice lady said about how she used to work for the county and she found herself in an unfamiliar place with cancer, disabled, divorced. She mentioned a variety of issues. And for those who are going to say, oh, everything isn't free, because I've seen comments like that, everything isn't free, you can't get things for free. This is for the seniors. This is for the disabled. The ZAP program, which is now the HAP program, same thing, different person. I mean, literally, it's the same thing. So we can say this lady is a plant, she's a Tiffany supporter, but why wouldn't she be? And not personal. Like, let's put on our thinking caps, take off the horns that she said that people had on and put on our thinking caps. Why wouldn't she be a supporter of someone who's giving her services? But it's not even Tiffany, it's the program. And the program existed before Tiffany. So I don't understand. I don't understand. But let's go to the next speaker.
I have
Listed several agenda items.
you can, I'll have anybody else live with me to do line care. Line care services, they come out, it's like $35 a week through the villages by income. So Social Security check does not pay for $35 a week line care, snow removal, and all this stuff that we have here in the service getting cut. We get the lunch from $150. If you take that away, sometimes we get extra meals like that to help with the budget. Food is so high, so every little bit helps. So please keep the line service of the seniors disabled. Anything else? Thank you, I appreciate it.
Now that's another very real story. Here comes another person on a walker. Looks like, I'm not sure if that's oxygen or something, but these are very real stories. These are very real services that residents need.
Resident of Township. I was, who's responsible for our street lights being on? I've called Public Works at least 5 times. I haven't had street lights in 1 month almost. I live on a main street. I live on MLK. I even talked to you before about this. We have no street lights.
This is not public comment, this is strictly about line. So public comment comes up a little further down the agenda. Right now, we are on the agenda item, we're talking about line.
Okay,
So that you get the opportunity to speak, but not right now.
I am on the ZAP program.
Okay, just wanted to pause it right there because this is another place where people are saying, well, Tiffany was rude to someone, and she clearly directed a resident that this was a special board meeting. I didn't see her yell, scream, curse anybody out. I didn't see any of that. I just saw a redirection to let her know that this was a special board meeting and you have to stick to the topic. Whereas this nice lady was redirected and she is a part of the ZAP program. So let's hear her story.
Yes, I went 3 weeks without a cut. I called ZAP. They did say, okay, you on the list. They never came out. Finally, I called Stan Brown. And I don't know what he did, but all of a sudden, I did finally get a cut. So I would like to know, will I would continue to get a cut?
So that's what we're discussing now. So we basically not to speak to the board, because they want that voted not to pay the vendors.
I think called Stan Brown.
So that's why you went.
Stan Brown got off the bike and got the motors out. Shout out Mr. Brown. Stan Brown.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So
Yeah.
she went off topic because it was a special meeting. Supervisor Henyard redirected her and didn't seem to be a problem. But you all would be like, oh, she's so rude. She was so rude. No, you have to follow the rules of a special meeting. You can only talk about the agenda items that are on the meeting. If there's like a comment after, sometimes they might let you do that. But generally, if there's a special meeting of a board anywhere, you stick to those items. So she was talking about the streetlights, and that was a special meeting. So she did end up having a valid comment because she's part of this app program, and she needs to have her lawn cut. And we don't know what Stan Brown did, but obviously he does something more than ride bikes, because she said she reached out to the staff, which is important to note. I think I forgot to mention that earlier because it was just so much craziness. But Tiffany doesn't do the invoices. Tiffany is not the staff person that someone would have talked to get their lawn cut. So, but no one's taking or seems to be taking any of this into account, that everything that you all are saying really has nothing to do with, or I should say nothing to do directly with Tiffany. And I don't know how I can be a Tiffany supporter. I'm not voting. And I'm also not all up in everything. And I really want to move this ahead so that we can discuss that, because that's the last thing that I want to talk about. The last thing that I want to talk about. So that's two people so far that I've heard talk about the lawn care. I didn't hear anything specifically against Tiffany. Let's see who the next person is. I also notice I don't see your normal set of people here. So that's something that I noted. I really only see maybe 3-4 of the usual speakers here, and I don't know if they spoke. Let's see. Oh, no, that's not one. Let's listen to what she has to say.
All right. Hello, my name is Edna Boston. I'm a resident of South Holland. For 15 years, I've been a resident of Thornton Township for about 46 years. And I've never seen what I'm seeing now, which is why I come to this meeting. So I did write some notes here, and you are, I don't. That people are holding you responsible in your positions, and you're absolutely right. I'm holding you responsible as a resident. I remember all of the talk going on about how much Tiffany was making. And actually, I assumed that everyone else on the board was volunteer. Yeah, I did. And then I had to go and research for myself, and I said, wait a minute. Everybody getting a big paycheck. How often do they have to show up? And what are they doing when they get there? I'm angry. I feel when you show up at these meetings, I don't care if you had to beg, borrow, and steal to get the information that you need to make intelligent decisions that will affect this community. Once the amenities are gone, they don't come back. I know this. I lived in Harvey. We had plenty of amenities. They went away. I lived in Dalton. The amenities go away. We had a pool. We had different things going on in Dalton. Okay, when the amenities leave, I leave. Now I'm in South Holland. I don't want to see the amenities in South Holland or Thornton Township go away anymore. Enough is enough. Your kids need to put your toys away, show up at these meetings, prepared to make intelligent, thoughtful decisions. If you're not capable of that, the income that you're receiving from my tax dollars, you don't deserve it. And I'm meaning that. I'll run for this office because I'm mad enough to stand up for it. And if you're not willing to fight for it instead of fighting to get your vision seen and your vision seen, and no, but I think it should be this way, and I hate them. You don't have to like each other. I understand that's politics. You don't have to like each other, but you should be able to come to the table to do what's right for the community and its residents. We're not all Democrat, we're not all Republicans. But for that, you need to be able to come together. And if you're not at a level of intelligence that you can come together at a table and make intelligent decisions, give up your role. Stop fighting. You want the newspapers here? So what? So you get your 5 minutes of fame? You know, what is the point? I know when Zuccarelli was here, I didn't see all of this. And now I'm wondering, is it because he was a white male? Help me, somebody get this. Help me understand. I sit here and I see people on the road with me heckling and making little snide comments. It's disrespectful. I understand you don't have to like what's being said. I don't like everything I hear, but it's just disrespectful. If you come here with your disrespect in your hand, you should have stayed outside the door. But no, you came here to support your guy. It's like a little fan club. I see you meeting together outside hugging, and yeah, it's like you've decided already what you're gonna do. Your minds are not open to receive anything fresh or engaging. So why are you here anyway? Your mind is already up. I thought that we were coming to these things to have something to open up to. Refresh me. I'm sitting here going, I'm trying to understand. And then nobody can tell you. But okay, thank you.
I just got 3 sentences. There's a whole lot of people out in this hallway that have something to say about what's going on in this township. I've been living out here for 48 years. I've never seen such carrying on in my life. You gotta stop. It's been 8 months since they've been picking on that lady. I don't know if it's just her or if it's work with her. I don't have the inner circle. I don't know what's going on here. But something needs to give. It needs to stop. All of you. Search your souls and find out what you can do to clear this up, because the world knows about all of this garbage. I'm sick of it. Every night on TV. I mean, I'm just tired of it. Please make Thornton Township safe again and have us all be good fellows and love, as he says, all the time.
Now, here's the next speaker, whether it's a Tiffany planner or not. I just wanted to stop real quick to say, does anybody else see Mr. Lee? He looks very uncomfortable while these people are speaking. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I digress. Let's go.
Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing? I just have a few things. It's everybody that sits up there states that they're for the people, but it's hard to tell that you guys are for the people because it seems like everything is a knick-knack, paddywhack for Tiffany. Y'all mad at her, so we're not going to pay bills. Tiffany bills, I'm quite sure, should be paid. So by not paying bills, it's not hurting Tiffany, it's hurting who y'all say y'all looking out for, which is the citizens. I'm lost. The senior citizens, the services that y'all are not paying for them. It's crazy. Everybody want to throw out the citizens for sitting at the board. We care. You don't. You strictly do not care. You wake up at 4:00 in the morning and look on Facebook. It's about Tiffany. It sickens me that people are not sleeping, shitting, or eating, thinking about Tiffany. Like it said, I'll be at work for 12 hours. Look on Facebook, Tiffany. 4:00 in the morning, a post was just made 3 minutes ago. It's said that it's so much hate for her, but it's supposed to be so much love for the citizens, but it's rubbing off on the citizens how y'all feel for her, which is crazy. Y'all need to do better. Pancake pastor over there, y'all just not right. Y'all just not doing right by these bills, by the citizens at all. Y'all can have personal agendas against Tiffany, who cares? It's life. Everybody's not gonna like her. Some people gonna hate her, some people gonna love her. But at the end of the day, what about the citizens? What are we doing? Citizens' grass getting cut? No, nothing's gonna happen with that. So it's just like, it's crazy. Y'all need to do better.
Now, love or hate this lady, she had a point. Tiffany plant, not a Tiffany plant. And I wasn't going to hear from Michael Smith, but he had some valid information. I mean, I thought so. That's why I went back, because initially I was like, let me just skip past him. But we really do need to hear from him. Let's hear from everybody, whether we like him or not. So we let him say his.
Good evening. Don't cut your nose off to spite your face. You're going to have to face these same ordinances again, whether the supervisor is sitting there or not. But guess what? I'm gonna be sitting here watching to see you repeal them. I'm gonna be watching because I know how boards work, how they organize. They do things against one administration, then a new administration come in, we flip it, we change it. Keep the same things you got in place. Don't change it, because I'm gonna be here. The other thing I want to talk about, I put in a FOIA request. Trustees, your communications are FOIAble when you sit in board meetings and you text one another. So to Mr. Gonzalez and to Ms. Carlisle, I would like my FOIA request answered. If I do not get it answered within the time frame, I am going to the Illinois Attorney General's office. Because as board members, you cannot sit in meetings and text one another. You can't do it. Your information becomes FOIAble. That is the FOIA law. Read it. The other thing I want to talk about is it's sad how we do our seniors and our youth. I got seniors that live in Riverdale. They talk about their grass being high, and they did receive tickets. And I encourage them to come to the board meetings and talk to the trustees, because they voted no to not get your lawn cut. You took an oath in office, and your oath of office was that you would do right by the Constitution, the state of Illinois, and Thornton Township. If you're not going to do right, step down. Step down. There's other people that would love to take those seats and provide services for the people. Again, stop with the senseless attacks against the supervisor. Because guess what? You're not hurting her. You're hurting the seniors. You hurting my grandmother that's been living in this township for over 80-some years. They can't receive food services that she depend on. She depend on getting her rent paid by Thornton Township. Those are things that you guys got to think about when you're having your meetings and you want to cut and hurt. You're hurting people. You're hurting people. When you sit as a legislator job is to come to legislate, to put things in place in order to help the common goal of the township. The common goal. We got young people committing suicide on a daily basis that can use some services, can use some help. But we cut. We cut. I don't see any of the trustees. We had a day in the park in Riverdale. I didn't see any of the trustees out there to greet the residents, whether you like her or not. They voted for you. They voted for you. They deserve to see your face.
Thank you.
They deserve to see your face. So stop with the senseless stuff, because it's hurting our township. You can't go nowhere without somebody bringing it up. Thornton Township.
Thank you.
That's sickening. Come
up.
on.
Okay. See, for me, it's always, I was going with the narrative, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear nothing that Michael Smith had to say. And before we listen to you, Mr. Lee, let's pause it right there. before we listen to Mr. Lee, because we're going to listen to all sides, very important thing that I didn't see the news report on, and that's trustees texting each other during meetings. That becomes part of a FOIA. I previously brought this up when I noticed that former trustee Edward Steve was in the chat of the Dalton trustees meeting while being at the meeting. Where in government do we do that? Where? The second thing, youth. Nobody, I don't see any of these people that are speaking so loudly against the corruption talking about the youth. So, like that man or hate that man, the youth, nobody cares that they're unaliving themselves. No one cares that this is part of the reason why youth get into doing things that they shouldn't do to get money, because all of these grown people are sitting up here arguing about who gets what and not paying people when the youth should be a huge part of who you're paying. You have all of these people, and I'm really just talking about your residents, the certain group. Where's the youth? Where is anyone speaking about the youth? I'm sure somebody might say something now, but up until now, I have not heard any of these people, Thelma Price, Dan Lee, Mary Avant, and any of the other advisors to the trustees over in Dalton. I haven't heard any one of you speak on the youth because you don't care. Or what? We just have to get her out and then we'll figure out the youth. Either way, it don't matter. It makes no sense. The other and last thing was the people want to see your faces. That's fair and valid. If you're a trustee and the people, or I'm not even gonna say trustee, mayor, supervisor, whatever elected position, if people elected you to that position, they do want to see you. I mean, all the fighting, when you're on a board, you fight behind closed doors. You have your verbal altercations behind closed doors, and you come out to serve the people. But I ain't gonna hold you. Let's go to Mr. Lee. I kind of feel like we know what he's going to say.
Testing. I assume most of you know about the canary in the coal mine syndrome. If you all, anybody read the Lightfoot reports, get everything by the numbers starting from 2021. There's no disputing these numbers. They came directly out of
Thornton Township.
Would you all have Stan Brown coming to our meetings and talk about Thornton, and talk about, excuse me.
You have anything that's been
Still public comment. He could come and read the dictionary if he wants.
I know this, but you don't know what you're talking about. No.
Whatever you want to talk about.
I'm going to talk about. I am going to talk about.
You can talk about.
Excuse me, I can't talk about anything if you can keep interrupting me.
Go ahead. I'll give you 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You have your 3 minutes.
Okay, here's the deal.
Before the soapbox, do you all see that Supervisor Henyard yielded the floor to Mr. Lee? Can we just acknowledge that? No? Okay, never mind.
Town, which is part of Thornton Township, has been devastated and decimated by the current administration, and they're bringing that same thing right here to Thornton Township. All you have to do is look at the patterns. There's a pattern of not responding to, believe it or not, FOIA requests. FOIA requests were illegally taken from the clerk and given to one of the cronies, who is currently now turning state's evidence against our own personal Al Capone, or if you prefer, New Jack. I mean, we've been through all this. You can tell what the aims are. Okay, this is not a reality show. These numbers have affected us deeply. We had a $5 million surplus, which is reduced to almost a $4 million deficit within a 3-year period. I mean, these are numbers that came out of the current administration, and much more to come. Now, if you want to talk about FOIAs, and you want to talk about Open Meetings Act, we have 30-something people out here. Myself, I've been over there for over 2 hours, standing out there for over 2 hours, just waiting to get in, even though there is seats available in here. And that is also FOIAble. I have several communications from the Attorney General, whom I talked to one of them today. You got a little stuff coming down the road. You can ignore it if you like, but it's coming. Because your violations here and in Thornton, which again, I remind you, is part of Thornton Township, whether you want to realize it or not. But you cannot continue to not accommodate the people and violate our civil rights, which is what happens when we have to stand out there for over 2 hours and can't even get in the room. There are supposed to be some accommodations. Open Meetings Act again. FOIA, and I imagine they may have some issues here also. And who illegal attorneys, not even associated with Dalton,
skipping or not,
and bring them into private meetings with the trustees. No, not time, not our place.
Your time is up.
Of course it is.
Oh, okay, his time is up. Thank goodness. Like, really, Mr. Lee, first of all, there's nothing that I can even speak on anymore except it was off topic. You came to say what you said. Okay, fine. I would like to let everyone know, because WGN did not report that the normal and other residents do not appreciate the heckling. They do not appreciate this bickering. They do not appreciate these soapbox speeches at these meetings. But we have the one speaker remaining. That's okay. Everybody gets to have their speeches heard, I suppose. That being said, I thought this was a combative meeting. It was. There's a combative person right there. Just combative. If we want to say that Tiffany's combative, we're going to name all the people that were combative. Mr. Lee, you came in very combative. I have to say, I wish you would take better care of your health, because you don't look the same as you did at the tea with the trustees. And I mean no shade. Ms. Price, I believe the normal residents of the township do not appreciate the heckling. However, you heckled away. Just heckled away. So what I found to be the most disturbing part of this whole saga, not even just this meeting, but this whole saga, is I would really like to know, why are all of these statements that are coming out, from what I've seen so far, first it was the Dalton trustees, then it was Trustee Christopher Gonzalez in the township, then there was a statement from Trustee Carmen Carlisle, and all of these statements are coming from this person who is wearing blue. This person who was wearing blue was what? Chief of Staff, PR, chief of staff, put the slashes either way. But in the first 6 months, everything went to heck. So we wouldn't think that this person, we wouldn't want to be cautious of a person that Tiffany fired, a person that was also there in the first 6 months. We wouldn't want to be cautious. A person that is not a Dalton resident, we don't want to be cautious of that. Okay, all right, cool. I don't understand it, but if
There
that's
are
what we're
two
doing,
cardinal sins to a black woman's hair. One, you don't get it wet. For two, if you mess it up, you replace it. Well, you know what?
Remember, this is your food.
You got to send me back.
high society management reality show. And everyone keeps saying this is not a reality show. But the same person behind all of these statements is the same person that was a reality show person. I don't know if she found love with anyone on that show, but I guess it's a special meeting. So let's keep it Dalton. So Christopher Gonzalez, there was a statement from him, High Society Management, Carmen Carlisle, and that's still Gonzalez, Carmen Carlisle, and then the trustees. So the latest had a different publicist, but this statement from the trustees of Dalton regarding the Illinois comptroller announcement, Dalton been broke. The town, I mean, it's been broke. Go back to the 2017 meeting. I don't know how to keep saying that, but I guess people do not want to go back and look at that 2017 meeting where you were warned. But we want to act like this is because, literally because of Tiffany or because of the, again, accusations. That being a fair statement, this is because of accusations. Why is everything now coming from this person? Nobody at all. Okay, just me, because I was a stranger, right? Just me, okay, just me. I get it. And then lastly, of course, we have Miss Price. So if we talk about Tiffany, let's talk about everyone involved. It's muted because I can't even do all the. I think we know what it was. Going to jail, N words, blah blah. You can go check out Reality Check TV Chicago if you want to hear the actual sound bites. I personally am just waiting to see how these comments age, but I just, overall, I don't think it's fair reporting, WGN, that, there was literally 1 minute in this, like, 2-3 hour meeting. It makes no sense. So that being said, we are gonna end it there because it has been an hour and I did not mean to go that long. However, I just really wanted to make sure that we're looking at things that people are not talking about, because sometimes that's where you find things that you're really looking for. So yeah, I hope that everyone has a great evening, day, whatever time it is in your time zone. I am sending you love and light. And remember, shiny souls, just, be open minded. Just, that's it. That's all.